Welcome back to another Saturday driving video. I can't remember if I did a Saturday driving video last week or the week before last. I think about 2 weeks ago. So it's a Saturday. Y'all know it seems like every Saturday I have something going on. I've been on the phone making plans for next Saturday. Gotta go put a repeater up at a hospital for somebody. I was supposed to be going to my hunting lease this morning, make a little video about that on my Hunting Outdoors channel, Grumpy Dad Outdoors. Make sure y'all join if y'all haven't joined yet. And as I was on my way to that, a buddy called and said, what time was I going to get to the Slidell Ham Festival? Ham Fest is what they call it. And I'm like, I thought that was next weekend. So I made a sharp right turn on I-12 and went to the Ham Fest, made a little bit of video for that for my Grumpy Ham channel, and stayed there an hour longer than I wanted. And now I still have to go to it's like 2 p.m. now, and I still have to go to the hunting lease to get my stuff done, because I want to get that done today, because I don't want to have to be gone all day tomorrow from the house also. So it's busy times. So now I kind of went an hour out the way, but now I got to go through Mississippi, a different direction to get to the hunting lease. And that's my day. That's how most of my days normally are. When I have one thing planned and something else happens. So I just want to touch base on a couple of things. I haven't did a video since our live on Thursday, and I'm trying to get more videos out there and stuff like that. So just a couple of things I wanted to chit chat about. So nothing in this video, of course, is financial advice. This is just me, blubbering on about stuff that I don't know nothing about. What I say I'm purchasing or selling is me and doing it for me. There's no way suggestions for you to do it or anybody else to do it. So y'all, follow your own advice, your own research, as they say. So I am going to be looking at a couple different things. I just think it's funny that it's been a while since we've had any change in the rates going on right now, and we know there's a meeting coming up soon, FOMC meeting coming up soon, and everybody's saying that they are dropping rates. Because I tend to believe, and we've seen this before when the rates were going up, prices already baked in on what's the news. The news is coming out that there's going to be a rate drop. People, that's why you're seeing crypto go up, you're seeing Bitcoin go back up and all the stuff like that. People thinking that, when this rate drops, we're going to see a big push. You might see an additional push, but I still think you have that price starting to be baked in. And the fear with that is big if, I understand everybody's reporting otherwise, but I just like to be prepared for both ways, because I'm negative like that. If y'all remember where we at on Saturday in Picayune, Mississippi, Kiln, Mississippi, home of Brett Favre, the quarterback. That's where I'm at right now. Just pulled over to grab something for lunch. Remember where I'm telling you this. If it happens to stay the same, you're going to see some price tanking on everything. Stocks, toilet paper, stocks, oil stocks, including crypto. And I'm telling some people at work who are asking me about it, people that I know that purchase a lot of these alts during the bear market at much lower prices, I would sip some profits right now. I know that sounds like a bad plan when everybody thinks this stuff's about to skyrocket and alt season's here. You look at YouTube, I'm looking at YouTube on the way up here, and alt season's here. Be prepared, alt season's here. It's happening now. Remember I told y'all in some past videos, we start seeing a little bit of price increase in alts, and all these YouTubers come out with these alt season's here. I still say if we have one, you're looking at later October, November. And that's going off the last time I looked at numbers. I'm just saying I think we all need to be prepared. All right, so you have to forgive me. It's been a crazy week. There's a lot of stuff going on. But from just finished lunch and watching a different video, I didn't realize that they've come out and basically guaranteed a rate drop. So that would kind of also explain, again, this positive price action you're seeing. Now what videos are saying, because I kind of looked into it a little bit longer, you got people saying it's not just going to be 0.25, it's going to be 50. You even got some people saying it could be as much as 0.75 because we should have started dropping rates some time back, and the feds are so late on dropping rates that we could handle a 0.75. So I'm still going to continue what I was saying before is I don't want people to assume that just because there's a rate drop officially announced, whenever this meeting is, that all of a sudden you're going to watch all this crypto go crazy. The people like at my work, they're telling me this. Some of them are asking me this, but if I still told them if you bought very, very low, I would sip some profits. But I'm preaching sipping profits. Even through this whole bull market, I'm gonna say sip profits. I just think it's more the responsible thing to do. I've told y'all before, my Exodus wallet during the last bear market went down 90+%, and that was disgusting, and I'm never gonna go through that again. Me, personally, I'm not taking profits. Why? Because a lot of my buy-in prices, I'm not even back to that yet. Or I am somewhat in the positive because I was buying so much at these lower prices, but to me it's not enough of a positive price yet, a profit price yet. Or a lot of my tokens are staked, and it's not worth me unstaking them right now. I'm gonna hold on a little bit longer. But I told y'all, if y'all caught my live on, I think it was Tuesday and Thursday I did a live, I told y'all kind of my plan. A lot of these alts, especially a lot of these DEPIN projects we're in, we know we're not getting Lambos out of them. Some people might disagree with this and think I'm waiting too long. I understand that. Y'all have told me that. But a lot of these DEPIN projects I'm in, I'm currently staking. They have a 3-month cooling off or unstaking period. And what I'm saying is I'm planning on starting to unstake those in October, where those tokens will now be in my hands in December. The tokens I get monthly or weekly, whether it's Chirp, whether it's SoarChain, whether it's Silencio, any of those tokens like that, I'm not staking nothing else past October 1st. My plan is come December when when I'm thinking, at least the last time I looked at charts, what I'm thinking that this alt season is gonna be really starting to pump, I'm selling. Now the question comes in, what am I gonna do with that? And I can't answer that question. The part of crypto is supposed to be about not being involved in the dollar. We know the dollar's losing so much value all the time. Do you want to put it in the dollar? Do you just put it in USDC? I don't know. Do you want to start playing with micro tokens? Y'all can do that. I'm not. But you look at Alex Becker saying that's how he's made all his money. But I also argue that you're going to go put in 10 different tokens and lose on 8 of them. 2 of them will do good and it's going to wash it out. I don't know. I was involved in a lot of that stuff the last bull run, and I felt that's why I didn't maximize my profits and winnings, but basically profits, because I was in so many tokens back then that the good washes out the bad, where if I could just concentrate it down to some tokens, then it would have been better. And I did do that during the bear run, and during now, I've gotten rid of a lot of these other layer 0 tokens, whatever you want to call them, a lot of these layer 3 gaming tokens and AI tokens and stuff like that, because I didn't have a lot of money into them. So I wouldn't have made big profits. I know I'm kind of getting off the rails here, but basically I'm just telling people, be careful when it comes to this. I've just seen a lot of people talk about it, and people think that, I'm not bullish enough. Listen, there's, I don't like running. You can tell I don't like running at all. But there's a difference between what's going on today. It's a marathon, not a sprint, if that's the way you want to talk about it. Short term, I'm just concerned. we've seen enough times where these YouTubers have said all season's here, all season's here, all season's here, and guess what? They know all season here right now, right? So I think we're setting us up for another one of those events where all these people right now online, if you search YouTube, I'm watching all these people, Wendy O's and all these different people like that saying that the all season's here, the all season's here. What happened to last time they said the all season was here? I just think when you're looking at Bitcoin, we looked at it on my live the other night. If y'all not checking my lives out on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, check that live out. But we looked at it live where we pulled up the Bitcoin dominance, and Bitcoin dominance is going back up. And that's not the recipe for an alt season, guys and gals. And we know that. But I'm not a crypto expert either, because there's a reason why I've been in crypto now for 10 years, and I'm sitting here making YouTube videos, you know, and not living on my island somewhere or driving a Lambo on my fishing boat right now. So you don't 100% follow me. You know, my other question is that I'm kind of leading into is, I know some of y'all really don't seem to get involved in this whole crypto thing. Y'all are in it for the DEPIN projects. You know, and I do watch other people's videos. I value other people's opinions, right or wrong. But I know I've talked about this. I've beat this dead horse. Told y'all for homework, no matter if you like the guy or not, Tech Hustler's video on is DEPIN dead is like almost a requirement now if you are in my YouTube or in my Discord. Because while I don't agree that DEPIN is dead, but that's not really what the video is about. It's some of the shenanigans that go on with some, not all, definitely not all, but some of these DEPIN projects. And if you would actually take the time to watch that video, you would understand and probably say, you know what, I kind of agree with him. So that's why I tell y'all need to, you know, watch it. I do agree with some of it. There's been several more people who are starting, and I'm even seeing posts like on Twitter, X, or whatever you want to call it, about don't get involved with DEPIN projects that don't have TGE. I don't know if I 100% agree with that, because, you know, even if a business from the ground up, if somebody's planning a business that they're building right here on side the road, you don't know when their opening date's going to be. There's different things that happen that could push that date up and, you know, forward or backwards. And to me, same thing with TGE to a point. If they're trying to wait for contracts or move money or deposits or anything to get on CEXs, which I think is very necessary for projects to succeed if they want outside people to buy into that project or to buy that project's tokens. You don't know what kind of time frame you're going to look at. You don't want to announce a date and find out the CEX listing ain't ready or the liquidity's not ready or anything like that. You know, you could be waiting for equipment to come in, equipment that has to be shipped out, delays in equipment, issues with that equipment. So I don't know if I like this whole, or if I agree with this whole blanket thing of don't get involved with a project without a TGE announced. You know, we if you've been in DEPIN longer than 5 minutes, you know how this game works, where yes, you're taking a much bigger chance by getting into a project early. However, you're also taking a much bigger chance of making profit early, making excellent profit early, very big profit early. That some project, like me right now, I'm trying to get into Nubula and pulling the trigger soon on that station. That station's been out for a while, so I know I'm not going to be early. I know I'm not going to be new to it or anything like that. So if there's any kind of bonuses for being early, or, you know, less stations online, anything, I've missed that point. But I understand that. But I'm also knowing that I'm getting to a project that's now established. Where you look at something like Brusho that doesn't have a TGE date yet, has an app, has oral tokens, which is your pre-TGE or your testnet tokens, that don't have a TGE. But I say it's a pretty established project. Now you look at something like Combiner that doesn't even have a Discord yet, not even discussing TGE or anything like that. I think the tokenomics need to be changed a little bit, but that one's a much higher risk. But what's the risk with Combiner? One reason why I was comfortable pushing it if you call it that, was because I needed smart plugs anyway. It doesn't cost anything to get on Combiner right now other than adding the plugs. The plugs were $25 on Amazon or something like that. Wasn't that bad. You know, it's kind of the risk. You could say reward, but we don't know if the reward's going to be with Combiner. But some of these projects that are asking $600 for you to put up for a device that has no idea on testnet, and then we find out the device is a plastic shell from a 3D printer with a $10 ESP32 in it with a little microphone and light sensor, and you charge $600 for that because of the software. You know, Tech Hustlers gave a perfect example. During the gold rush, you know who made the most money in the gold rush? The people selling the pickaxes and the shovels. You know, I don't want this project really to be about that. I'm more or less trying to talk about, I'm trying to get an idea from y'all. Some of y'all don't really mess with the crypto side of stuff. Y'all are into the DEPIN projects and stuff like that. And I don't know if I need to pivot a little bit more towards one way or the other for y'all, or even for myself. Me, this week, I DCA'd in, which goes against what I told y'all the first half of this video. But that's me. I'm trying to, whenever I have extra money, I am DCAing into tokens. And sometimes it's the same tokens. Sometimes it might be a token I have a fat gut feeling about, and I want to load up a little more exposure on that. I've told y'all many, many, many times that I kicked myself in the ass for not having more exposure to Bitcoin. That's one of my biggest regrets in crypto. Other than that, and not selling enough H&T when it was at its highest, and not buying more machines. But anyways, neither here or there. We're going to talk about H&T in a second. But I wish I had more exposure to Bitcoin. I always was listening to certain people who said, hey, take your money. If you got $100 you want to buy, or $1,000 you want to buy Bitcoin, you put that into, name your altcoin, whatever altcoin you want. Because, you know, if the market goes up this much with Bitcoin, you're not even doubling your money. But with, say, Cardano going back to all-time high, or WIF, or any of these other ones, you're going to 5x, 10x. And that's kind of what I was listening to. But the more I kind of see the way this market's shipping out, you know, especially listening to certain people, Bitcoin, I'm getting more bullish on Bitcoin, especially with this ETF. And you're finding that even though there's some other ETFs out there, or possibly coming out and stuff, your average mom and pop is getting Bitcoin. And so I'm buying Bitcoin right now. I know it's at a stupidly high price, but again, if you're looking at the marathon side of this, the long-term side of this, 5 years down the road, $100,000 is going to be a good buy-in price. If it's $1 million, again, don't quote me on saying it's $1 million in 5 or 10 years. I'm just saying. You listen. I watched a video right before this, what I'm working on with y'all, and this guy says $1 billion by the year 2035 or something like that. That's 10 years from now. I don't know. I think at some point it levels out. That's just me. But to wrap up this crypto side of it, I'm just going to say, be careful. If you bought some of these alts super low, if you bought Cardano at 20 cents and you bought, you know, Solana at $13 to $14 like I did, and you're up, but you're up, you might want to sip some profits, because if the market thinks that we're going up, we're coming up with a 50% or 5, whatever, you know, 0.50 drop in rates, and we don't get that, you might see a little negativity. You're going to wish you took some profits. Long term, you can leave it alone like I'm doing. There's a small part of me that wants to take a little bit of profit in Solana just because I bought in at $8, $12, $13, but I have it all staked. Same thing with Crow. Majority of my Crow came from using the card. Part of me wants to sell a little bit of it. And, you know, I've always said I have certain plans long term, especially during the alt season or when some of these DEPIN projects go full mainnet, you know, and after some point, I have certain, I'm not like Matt, who has a Excel sheet for all his, when stuff gets to a certain level, I'm selling this token to pay off this, and like I'm all mine's up here. But I have certain credit cards at certain levels and loans and cars I want to pay off with certain things and stuff like that. And my worry is about I could actually take Crow right now and pay off some of that. But Crow at one point was at 48, 47 cents. That's basically almost double than what it is today. I'll be stupid to sell, even though I'm still way up. It'd be stupid for me to sell right now. When if I left whatever I was about to sell in there and it goes back up to all-time high, it's basically like a 3x from today, 4x from today. So I'm not all about 100% selling. It's hard. It's a hard decision to make because let's be honest, you sit there and you're watching it and you're like, if I just leave it in there, if I leave it in there and it could still go up, it could still go up. In long term, whether it's this alt season, next alt season, you're right, it could go up more. But can you live with it going down? That's what some people can't handle. Because if it does go down next week because of this, whatever happens with this rate drop, are you gonna be disgusted? Or do you take a little bit of profits, you sip a little bit of profits, just a little bit. I'm not talking about selling all your tokens. You sip a little bit of profits, and then if you sip a little bit of profits and it does continue to go up, are you okay with that feeling? Because some people get just as pissed off with that than they do if they didn't sell and it goes down. That's the question. All right, so let's bring up our next subject. New chapter. Helium, HNT. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you have been a member of this YouTube, and if you're not a member, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. I always forget to say that. Make sure you hit the like button on this. Help me out. Help out the channel. Help out the projects we talk about in these videos. Everything I have tagged underneath. But if you have been in this YouTube world of mine for longer than about 5 minutes, you've heard me tell the story, the infamous story of when I first got into Helium, my miner was $5,000 and I ROI'd in 17 days. Listen, them days are over with, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care what you do with HNT. I don't care who you pay off or what you buy back, what you burn. You will never see them days again. Never see them days again. What I'm gonna say about Helium is this. We were making 20 to 30 tokens a day when it was only 30,000 miners. We were at 100, 200,000 and we were still making HNT a day, full HNT a day. We went up to 900,000 plus almost 1 million devices. We might have hit a million devices. I don't even remember. Our rewards took a drastic cut, stupidly drastic cut. But you've also had since then 600,000 of those devices plus, probably close to 700,000 of those devices now offline. Now I understand we've had one, if not two halvings, if I would go back and look since that time. I understand that. I'm not stupid. But right now, some of us, and I've asked y'all what y'all making, and this is even with a decent amount of stations that y'all are witnessing, 20, 30 stations in good hexes, y'all are still only making 0.1, 0.2, maybe 0.3 HNT a day. So if you do the backwards math of halvings, a 0.1 station technically would have been making 0.2 station, and before that should have been making a 0.4 station. we were making more than 0.4 with only 250 to 300,000 stations. So where the hell are all the rewards going? Because that's what I ain't gonna say I'm sick of people, because I enjoy all y'all. I enjoy y'all's feedback. I enjoy listening to y'all, and I learn from everybody. Nobody knows everything. We're always learning. I've always said that we're always learning. I'm still going to training conferences every year, twice a year, 3 times a year sometimes. We're always learning. So I don't mind y'all's feedback. But the people who say, well, there's nothing wrong with rewards, we just had 2 halvings. BS. Again, if you do the backwards math, that's what I'm gonna call it, the backwards multiplication. We've had a halving this year, I believe, and then a halving in 2023. So if we were making at 300,000 stations, we were still making 1 H&T a day. You do 1 halving, that's a half of H&T a day. You do another halving, that should have been 0.25. We're making less than that. And that's my point I'm trying to make, is the IoT side is the redheaded stepchild of Helium. And we got them to where they're going today. And to me, what's going to happen to Helium network if people still don't want to put the effort for it to keep their device going? Because that's the point I'm at too. You know, I have devices that are going down. They're 3, 4, 5 years old, depending on when I added them. If I can get one free from somebody, because I've had 2 or 3 people donate some to me. Hey, bro, I'm not messing with this no more. You pay for shipping, it's yours. I'll transfer it to you, and I've gotten them. But some I haven't, and I'm not going to spend $75 to $100 on a device that's going to take me literally, the last time we did the math, 525 days to ROI. What's going to happen to Helium? Who's going to want to put their IoT service on the network, Helium network, when there's no receivers for it? Yo, some of y'all have heard me talk about my son who goes to college now in North Louisiana, who has a demo device in his vehicle. Demo device, which was one of my first ones that I've had now for, if you heard me say how long it takes to ROI, we're going on 20 months that I've had demo. So that was a pretty good streak. When he first moved up there and he's driving around North Louisiana around his college and friends and wherever else he's going partying, as long as he don't get in trouble, the demo device wasn't hitting anything. Then when I looked at the Helium, because I looked at the Helium Explorer, and the Helium Explorer said he had stations up there. I saw these hexes. I ain't got nothing to worry about. I didn't take the time to go click on those hexes. Sure enough, when I did take time to click on those hexes, what do you find out? Ain't none of them online no more. I don't know how long it takes for Helium to clear hexes, but apparently it's a couple of months. So what did I do? I had to go take a Helium device off of a host, then go send it up to my son in North Louisiana in his dorm and plug it in, just so when he parks next to his dorm, the demo connects. I'm trying not to say where my kids go to college at, but because my wife would kill me. She forbid me for doing it, even though I think I'm supporting school. But anyway, you know, this is a northern section of the state. It has an interstate and a 4-lane state highway that runs perpendicular to it. And there's no Helium coverage. Even with me, all I have him with is with the little black antenna that comes on the back of the sense cap. I send him a sense cap with the little black antenna that comes with it on the back. It ain't got an external antenna, so it ain't capturing more than what's in the parking lot. And I think that's gonna hurt Helium. And my point I'm getting at with all this is, when I'm making 0.08 Helium a day, which is about 18 cents per device, I'm not putting effort into and sweat my brains out and go and fix this or pay for an ISP to give me internet to put it on there. And they need to do something. Now, what I'm getting at with this whole 7-minute conversation, because my watch tells me how long I've been talking for, there's been a lot of excitement. People brought up on my YouTube page, on my Discord, my YouTube videos the other night, and you see it on Twitter X. that everybody's so excited because some whale was selling every day or selling so much that he was suppressing the price. Why the hell would he suppress the price? He's got all these millions of tokens. Why would he he should want the price to go up, right? But Helium in their infinite wisdom, they somehow paid off, bought over the counter, bought his Helium from him or whatever they did with it, and now the price is supposed to go up. That was a week ago. The price is going down still. They're talking about burning some tokens. Hey, we're burning the mobile tokens or burning the money from the mobile tokens or something like that. That got passed or enacted or something, and guess what? Nothing went up. I've always said this, and y'all have argued with me that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Some of y'all 100% agree with me. I've said this with Demo, and I've said this with WeatherXM, and some of these other ones that love to proclaim, we burned X amount of tokens. We burned this many million, or we burned $100,000 worth. Burning only helps. Burnings and halvings only help when there is a demand, a wanting of your token. It's the scarcity. That's how Helium works. Everybody wants freaking Bitcoin. That's why the scarcity model works with a halving. If nobody wants to buy Helium or Demo, Swordchain, WeatherXM, you can burn and have all you want. And what you're seeing right now in Helium is, last I checked, and I'm not checking because I'm driving, you're at $2.60, $2.50, $2.40 or something like that. And even when you have an alt season, because you know my saying, even crap coins go up during the alt season. Yes, you'll have a rise in the HNT token price, but it ain't gonna be as good as you want it to be. Now, what I read an article on just 2 or 3 days ago is, who's still using the Helium network? Is there still money coming in from the Helium network? Is there, if I'm gonna use Demo for example, if Demo paid for a year or 2 years or 3 years, I'm sure some of y'all probably know this, I don't know these facts, so y'all can clarify this for me, but if Demo used that network, the Helium network, and signs a contract with them, say for 3 years, is that money paid up front or yearly? Is it monthly? Is it daily, dependent on use? Because if it's a yearly thing or a monthly thing, we know that to use that data, they're burning Helium and data credits and Helium tokens, but that might be done by now. And who's to say, because the coverage is getting so crappy, like I'm driving down the old Highway 11, which is Highway 13 in Mississippi. I guarantee you right now, if I go check the Helium Moken Explorer, there ain't a Helium station within, I'm about 30 miles from Hattiesburg, 30 miles. So if you have an IoT device, a tracker, package tracker, anything like that, your Helium device is worthless. And that's why I still question how successful some of these other projects are going to be, like Chirp and all them like that. Look, y'all know I'm a fan of Chirp. Chirp's was supposed to fix a lot of things that Helium did wrong. Open it up to more devices, not be as strict as what Helium was. I understand that to a point, but I still think a project like Helium that's severely limiting the amount of nodes that go out, they're handicapping themselves from the beginning. I understand that they don't want to be another Helium. They heard that feedback. So you know what? You make hexes and you say 1 device per hex. When I put my station for Helium up in New Orleans, I got so excited because we put an external antenna out. People made fun of me. People criticized me, didn't know what the hell I was talking about. Even though I told them I was doing RF work at work, put an 8 dBi layered up. And then when I showed them what my results were, now everybody's jumping on the layered 8 dBi. Antenna farm at that time couldn't even keep them in stock. So that's what I told everybody I was buying them from. But anyway, I remember getting so excited because all these stations were starting to come online and you're getting more tokens because you're witnessing more. until you got all of a sudden 10 in the same hex, 9 in the same hex. And then your overall hex res had too many stations in it, and then your bunch dropped with that. Listen, that was too much. Maybe Helium didn't plan it all the way out or whatever. So Chirp, to me, should have something in place to try to kind of stop that, right? They can stop it, but they still have to get stations out there, because who's going to want to mess with that network when there's not a station nowhere? There's 2-3 stations in Louisiana, and if you try to get a station for Chirp, you got to pay scalping prices because they keep doing this stupid NFT thing. You know, I don't know. I really just want Chirp to be successful, and I think they're handicapping themselves. You know, I know I'm off the deep end, but I'm on a long, boring ride. I'm sorry. You know, in closing of this video, and look, closing could be another 15 minutes. So, but in closing of this video, I want to wrap up a couple of things. You know, people always say I'm negative. It's not that I'm negative. It's just that that after you've been cheated on, I don't want to say cheated on, but after crypto has let you down so many times, you've gotten your hopes up because alt season's coming, and or this token is making this change, this token out, and this is going to be it. And then and that doesn't happen. You tend to start getting more and more like me. Man, you're always negative about these projects. You know why? Because these other projects that said that same thing screwed us over. So you're right. Maybe this project that I'm talking negative about, maybe I'm wrong on that one, but then prove me wrong. Because when the other project said that same thing, we weren't wrong. So, you know, that's part of that. Same thing with this rate drop thing. This rate drop thing was always supposed to be, or even a rate increase or whatever, was supposed to be this catalyst to either open shorts, go with longs, and it seems like every time we got crapped on. I've always said I have Grumpy's rules of whatever, Grumpy's rules of crypto, but the 10 rules or whatever, one of them is always when you think Bitcoin and crypto are going to zig, it always zags. And there's a part of me that says you're going to have people, when this rate drop supposedly is announced, you're going to have people trying to open shorts, people open longs. One of them is going to get wiped out. And that's just going to be a catalyst to keep going in a direction, or maybe even change to the opposite direction. And that's my worry. And I don't want to see y'all be prepared for one and the other one get screwed over. But I also don't want y'all to be prepared for the other way, because y'all listening to me and it does end up doing exactly what they're saying it's going to do. Y'all see the confusion? And I'm sure after watching this video for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, whatever long it ends up being, if y'all stayed here for this long ass boring video, thank y'all. But if y'all, you know, after this long boring video, you're probably just as confused as y'all probably more confused now than y'all were when y'all started watching. But, you know, it was a way just for me to get some of this off my chest without putting a bunch of tweets out and you know, putting this out on my Monday video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm rambling on. For those of y'all who watched this whole video, I should give y'all a sucker or some crypto or something, because this was probably a long, boring ass video for y'all, just like this long, boring ass rod is for me right now. If y'all watched the whole thing, let me know in the comments you watched the whole thing. I'd be very curious to know. You know, I wanted to do a video at home this weekend about a project, and I'm looking around last night, and Friday night, you know, I worked football, high school football last night, and team got a win against a rivalry. It was pretty good, but you know, nothing really caught my mind. You know, I don't think I need to do the 217th wing bits video or the 197th entropy video, and I'm trying to expand to some bigger things right now. I know Helium Deploy keeps me up to date on stuff that's releasing soon, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to get excited, but there's more and more node stuff coming out. Y'all tell me, again, I know I'm going long, y'all tell me how y'all feel about the node stuff. During the live, it seemed like a lot of y'all were very negative towards nodes, because, you know, we just talked about DEPIN being dead and selling cheap plastic devices for $600. Well, they want you to buy node licenses. You providing the equipment, they ain't providing no equipment. So they have no expenses, and they want you to pay $600 for a node license. And again, they can't tell you what your rewards are. Some people I know prefer nodes. You just gotta run the script on a device and you just let it run and don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about taking sensors and sound and aircraft and stuff like that. You know, I don't know. So y'all let me know what y'all think about nodes, running nodes. You know, years ago we were running nodes for different things and kind of got away from it. It just seems like more and more stuff Helium deploy is, Helium deploy is just the place to get it. It's not really on them, but it just seems like there's more and more of those type of projects coming out. And you know, I don't know. Some of those projects seem legit. I've seen the projects and people talk about the projects. I didn't realize it was just nodes, but you know, well, I don't know. So I'm trying to find some different projects. I'd like to expand and get in a couple more projects. I've talked to the Helium deploy guys to see about giving me some samples on new projects coming out, so I can do box opening for y'all and setting them up for y'all. And y'all know I like doing setup videos and stuff. So we'll see, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I hope that I didn't bore y'all to death and cause y'all to go to sleep on a. I'm sure by the time y'all watch this, it'll be a Sunday, but you know, we'll see. So thank y'all for watching, and see y'all next video.